So just as mentioned, today is Human Rights Day, a public holiday as well as a Saturday. So normally Johannesburg night spots would be buzzing by this time, but since President Cyril Ramaphosa banned any sales of alcohol after a certain time, calls for social distancing, these places are almost deserted. SABC reporter Hasina Gori is visiting some of these night spots today. She joins us now. Hasina is in Melville. So I can see just from the background that it's a lot emptier than it normally would be.
Yes, Tapi, so as you mentioned, usually on a Saturday afternoon here, this will be a bustling time. It will be a hive of activity with much cars lining the streets, and most of these restaurants filled to the brim with many enjoying sundowners. There'll be music, coming from many of the different establishments. But today, it's a very different scene. Almost a ghost town, quite quiet. Many of the establishments have already closed for the evening. Some are in the process of closing, and a few are still open. And the regulations, as you mentioned, both the ministers of tourism and the police reiterating to the public that the rules are as follows. From Monday to Saturday, it's from 9 in the morning to 6 p.m. is the only time alcohol is allowed to be sold. And then on a Sunday and public holiday, it's from 9 to 1 p.m. So today, which is a public holiday, many of these establishments paused their last glass at just before 1 p.m. So many of them closed at that point. If you are a restaurant that is serving normal food, you're allowed to still continue your normal serving of food. But one of the other stipulations is that there cannot be more than 50 people in that establishment. That's including the staff and the waiters that are part of that establishment. So what we're seeing here right now, a few people driving by, trying to see if anything's really open still, some walking by. We saw the police come out just driving a few minutes ago, making sure that the rules are being abided by. And we saw that similarly in Greenside earlier as well, where the JMPD police also just driving through, making sure that no one is still selling alcohol and that people aren't congregating in large numbers. Both the ministers also cautioned people that drinking in public is a criminal offence, and they will be curbing down on anyone that is found to be loitering and drinking in public, but also curbing down on any street bashes that people may have planned. We know that, when there's a public holiday such as today and it's a weekend, people usually gather together and, enjoy and be social. But they are trying to encourage people to social distance and to bring down the COVID-19 and stop the spread of the infections right now.
Hasina, you're somebody who's plugged into the social scene. Tell me, what are people saying? Are they willingly staying away because they're being responsible, or are they more afraid that the law will take its course should they transgress any of these regulations?
I think it's a mix of both. People are trying to understand how to social isolate and to also be responsible. Some, there's no option when establishments are closing and there's nowhere to really go. Then home is where it is. We're seeing lots of calls from people reiterating and reminding people to stay home, that while you might not be a carrier or you might not be someone who is high risk, others that you might be in contact with either might be positive, or you might find that they're also immunocompromised, so they're at a higher risk. So it's a very social call on social media, reminding people to self-isolate, to stay indoors, to not go out to large areas. We've seen malls, curbing down their hours. We've seen restaurants encouraging people to order takeout, giving free delivery within certain areas, or asking people to just stay home right now, or they've even brought down the number of reservations that they're allowing in their spaces.
Now, for some people, going out is, dare I say, like a drug. They're pretty much addicted to going out. Is it difficult for some of those people, and are they trying to cut corners by inviting more people into their homes so that they can continue to socialize?
Yes, that is one of the concerns. We spoke with the South African Depression and Anxiety Group yesterday, and one of the issues with isolation for some people may cause more anxiety. They encouraged different ways, like going online and socializing that way. We've seen some entertainment DJs creating lives where you can, watch different parties. So you bring in that into your space. Also, reminding people again in that space that this is not the time to have a house party. It's not the time to go out to other friends' houses, because that also defeats the purpose of isolation and doesn't help in flattening that curve.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Hasina. Hasina Gori, our reporter, who is out and about this Human Rights Day to see how people are observing not only the public holiday but the restrictions that come with the COVID-19 virus. We will connect with her later on as she moves in and around the Johannesburg's hotspots, what normally would be a busy time.